Um, she was supposed to travel later this month for her postdoctoral fellowship, and so that is why a lot of what happened came to us as a complete surprise. Um, Ruchika was a very promising young individual who touched the lives of all of the people here, every single individual, in different ways. She was outgoing, she was friendly, and extremely helpful, and an extremely positive person. And the positivity is very infectious. And I hope to hear from her friends, colleagues, and family about her in finding out how they had touched their lives. I can speak about her as her supervisor. As a supervisor, I looked after not only her academic progress, but also had to take care of her pastoral care. I had to think about her future and what kind of skills she needed and how she would make her life in academia. A PhD is really harrowing business. There are a lot of crises of self-confidence, vision, uncertainty about the future. There are many things one needs to do to plan for the future. Um, and all this we did together over the last 6 years. And one of the things was that because of her amazing positive outlook and total optimist, she managed to overcome a lot of the crises that the average PhD student faces. Everybody does. And during her time, and not only that, she helped others around her cope with life in general and life as a student, life in academia. Ruchika was a multi-dimensional person. She had a lot of contribution to our outreach in both English and in Hindi, both urban and in rural areas. She enthusiastically participated, and you will see later on today examples of how she managed to reach out to a lot of people who are not in the mainstream of science. She was interested in mentoring young people, a lot of people who have gone through IUCAA, young undergraduates who have, and even school students who she has mentored, she has taught, she has reached out to others. The general positivity and helpfulness came there. And this amazing sense of adventure that she had, the sense of loving the world. Traveling was part of that. Her passion for traveling, her passion for knowing new things was part of the academic world she was in. She loved learning, and that extended to knowing the world around her. And a lot of her friends would vouch for what passion she had for travel and for adventure. When we are in mourning, we tend to look for people or events to blame. Should she have been more careful? Should she have been? Did she need to be so adventurous? But that is what she was. She was a very adventurous person, and she enjoyed her life as she wanted it in her own terms. But she has now left us, and we are left behind, and we must now come to terms with this loss. And this is why we've gotten together today to remember her. I now invite Dr. Nishant Singh to take over and conduct the rest of the proceedings. Nishant, over to you.
So, thanks, Shomak. So it's extremely tragic to be part of such a meeting that nobody would want to be part of such an event. But here we are, and Shomak has already mentioned quite a bit about Ruchika, and there are a lot of us who would want to say something. So on behalf of many friends that Ruchika has left behind, family members, loved ones, colleagues, she has worked with a lot of people here. So we welcome you all to join us in this memory of Ruchika, to not only grieve, that we have to come to terms with anyway. Coping is a long and slow process. So to not only grieve, but share those personal moments those very pleasant moments through which Ruchika is anyway going to be with us. She'll remain with us. So, in terms of expression, silence seems the only possible expression in this hour, but it ought to be broken just for an act of expressing one's thoughts, memories, moments, as many loved ones that Ruchika has so brutally left behind have still gathered their courage to say something. So while we observe silence, I'd request friends to play some video that that we can all watch and remember her. So the idea is that after this short video, her friends will share her thoughts. And,
Have you started the video? I see a frozen again.
Pratik?
Yes.
I think you had a slideshow, but I see only one image.
Oh, the video isn't playing?
No, just the first one where Robert Frost's poem is there.
Okay. Give me a minute.
No audio also, okay?
Yeah, I'll do that.
It is stuck again.
Yeah, just a minute. Yash, can you play the video so that we are not delayed?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm not sure if you can hear it. To people in audience, we are not able to hear yet. So let's wait. I'm receiving.
so as you saw, Ruchika was clearly quite a dynamic personality, very enthusiastic person. I personally haven't known her for long, and but it was obvious that she had quite a radiating personality. It was very hard to miss her, and it seems that she has touched lives of so many people from very different uh, areas that many of them have expressed that they would like to say a few words. So let us begin by Ruchika's very close friend and IUCAA's PhD student, Rajorshi, who would like to say a few words now. Rajorshi, if you can.
Hi, yeah, I can hear. Am I audible?
Yes.
Raju,
hello?
possible? Great.
Yeah, I was just checking if my internet can handle. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, so I'll just say whatever comes to my mind, I guess. Like, I've known Ruchika for about, 6+ years now. But so I mean, I'm sure everyone knows that she loved long conversations. Apart from her other interests, like long conversations, discussions, as much as she loved, traveling, like adventuring, like meeting new people and discussing new ideas. Like, she was always so. If you went to a room, she had, these books on diverse topics from history to statistics to psychology and like so and everyone knows that she was a slow eater and I was a slow eater too, and we were both night owls, so I had a lot of time to converse with her and
Rajorshi, your voice is breaking.
Hello, is this hello, is it okay? Okay,
A little
it's
better now.
probably my internet. I think it's my internet. Hello, is it okay now?
Yes, now we can hear. Now we can hear. Yes.
Yeah, is it? I mean, could you tell me where it was cut off? I can try and
Yeah, just two sentences, last two sentences.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as what I was saying, ki, I mean, those 6 years of conversation make me feel like I've known her forever. But even though, I mean, given the kind of person she was, there were, of course, a lot of facets of her life which I still don't know, like interests, hobbies, thoughts, and the worst part is, I mean, I would never be able to know now. And I've been talking a lot to mutual friends, people I close, other people who were close to her, and all of that saying that how much I want to talk to her, like directly. And so ever since this happened, I've been writing, thinking over this a lot. And the thing is that it's just very hard to accept that this happened. I haven't seen her for over
Rajorshi, it's breaking again.
sometime back,
I
but
think it's breaking a lot, Rajorshi.
Raju, video, switch
could
off
you
your
give me
video.
1 second?
Yeah.
Could you give me 1 second? I'll just check the connection once. 1 second, please.
I think it would be better without a video.
Or we can perhaps come back to Rajorshi in a bit. So Ruchika was also very much involved in teaching
Hello?
activities. Hi Rajorshi. So is it better
Hi.
now?
I hope so. Is it
Okay,
okay
yeah,
like,
you try now.
at the
Yeah.
moment? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just impossible. Like it's very hard to accept that something like this has happened, and it's more it's more. It feels like, okay, she had this quote that all geared up for the next journey, and the journey must go on. And it feels like, okay, maybe she went for uh, the next journey, a long journey somewhere. Maybe we won't be meeting for a long time, but I would just like to have said at least goodbye to you once, like just before, just once. I would have needed just 5 minutes to talk to you. And yeah, that, I just don't know, I miss her a lot. And she she was an amazing support, like for everyone here. you know she would call me herself when during this lockdown time. Everything was a bit of a disarray, like communications life, and she was living it to her normal, like she was ticking off her bucket list, and she she had gotten a postdoc, and she was already, she was happy. Like every time I talked to her, she would transfer some of that happiness to me, and I'm sure to everyone else that she's conversed with. And I just don't know what to say. What else? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Thanks,
I'll
Raj.
let others go on. Yeah.
So, as I was saying, Ruchika was also quite involved with various teaching and SciPop activities at IUCAA. So, I would now like to say to invite Sonal Thorve from the Science Center, who was also a very close friend of Ruchika, has accompanied her on many treks they've done together. And so, Sonal, please, and there are a lot of other people who would like to speak. So, maybe a couple of minutes will be very good. So, Sonal, please go ahead.
Thanks, Nishant. Can you hear me?
Yes, there is some echo or something also.
Yeah, just a moment. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah. Actually, this is a very sad moment to share the memories. I would have liked to know her a bit more, and I didn't get that much chance. In fact, we were together for about 7 years now in IUCAA, and we started to know each other since only the past few years. And she was very much active in SciPop activities. She came with us for National Science Day programs. And I remember 2 years ago, not 2 years, actually last year itself, when I had called her to if she can talk with school students in Pulaska Festival. And she was like, oh, I was never around during that period of year. And I would really love to be a part of it. Now it's online, so I'll be doing that for sure, even if I'm not around. So she readily agreed to talk to students, and it was a very nice conversation, as usual, live and energetic. And I loved the part where she was genuinely expressing what she have experienced during her journey through the PhD. And she didn't hesitate to tell students to enjoy their life, even while you are studying or devoting all your time for your work. You should also not forget to enjoy your life. You should live your life, every moment of your life. So, yeah, I think I'll stop here because I don't know what to say more. I'll miss her.
Thanks, Sonal. Yeah, as you see, this has been very devastating for all her friends and colleagues, and very shocking and very tragic event. Uh, As part of her outreach activities, Ruchika has made numerous trips to IUCAA Giravali Observatory, where she was close friend with Nilesh, who is there, who was also very helpful in last days, as we all came to know about Nilesh then. So Nilesh, if you would like to say something, please.
I think there is a problem with Nilesh mic, so he's not able to speak. So I think we'll skip it towards the end if possible.
Okay, fine, no problem. So as I was also saying that teaching was also something that was very close to Ruchika, and she has been involved in teaching kids in the IUCAA 7 quarters. And in that activity, Kakoli Bakchi, she was a very close friend there. So Kakoli, in case if you can unmute and speak.
It was a very shocking news to learn about Ruchika's untimely passing away. She was a role model for our support staff kids. She taught them maths, and as most of the kids didn't go to English medium school, Ruchika taught them in Hindi. That was her plus point. And the girl research scholars who taught them were a role model for the kids there. I know how well they looked up to Ruchika and the other girls. And it was a very sad day when we came to know about Ruchika. Two of us have done very well. They have passed their 10th standard with very good marks. And I think they owe it to Ruchika. That's all I can say. She will be missed in the colony amongst the children. That's all I can say.
Thanks, Kakoli, for sharing this. IUCAA was a great place for Ruchika, where she really tried to pursue as many things as possible. In her research activity, very close friend of her in her career was Shishir Sankhyayan, who has moved to the same place where Ruchika was supposed to join in about a week in this month, in the same group in Tartu, in Estonia. And I can't even imagine how Shishir must be feeling when they were all in touch and planning a reunion in Tartu. So Shishir, if you can unmute and speak a few words.
This is really very sad what happened. I was in shock, and like on 2nd of August, I just had a WhatsApp chat with her, and she was like, we were discussing which flight route she would be taking and what COVID restrictions are here. When I first the news, I couldn't believe it. I thought she was in Delhi or so. But Ruchika, she was a very lively person, always ready to have discussions, whether it's about academics or anything else. When she told me that she would be joining here in Estonia, the first thing she said that we will go to the North Pole. So that's how much she was enthusiastic about exploring the world. It's really sad, and I don't know, here in the institute here, there is a IAU clip always run on these display TVs here. So if you go for lunch or anything, then in that short video, there is a maybe 20-second video of Ruchika there. And it's really hard to see that short clip right now. My deepest condolences to her family and all of you who are present here.
Thanks, Shishir. Siddharth here at IUCAA, who's a PhD student here, has been our local guide on various treks where Ruchika has been. Siddharth also was there in US trip when Ruchika went there in connection to a TMT meeting. And so I'd like to request Siddharth if he can share something on both academic front, what they shared in the US, and also some personal memories from their times during trek that may be a lot in number. Siddharth, please.
Yeah, Nishant. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I met Ruchika in 2015, just after I joined IUCAA as a PhD student, and we instantly bonded over travel and treks, the two things that are closest to her soul. And since then, we became partners in many treks and travels. One special trip of ours was the trip to Pasadena in California to attend the 30-meter telescope workshop in the December of 2018. She was very happy and excited about this trip because this was her first US trip and probably first international trip. And during the day, we would attend the workshop, and she enthusiastically took part in the workshop. And her team went on to become to win the best instrument proposal at the workshop. And the photo that is right now there on the screen is a picture of all the members of her team there. And as anyone who knew her would expect, during the spare time from the workshop, she became our leader for going to various trips to the beaches and the mountains. While we traveled around many places, the one trip that is vivid in my memory is our visit to Mount Wilson Observatory. That evening, the weather was very bad and the roads were often blocked. And a cab driver told us that it's not a good idea to go there. But Ruchika had made up her mind to go to Mount Wilson Observatory there and visit the 100-inch hooker telescope through which Hubble had made all his discoveries. So somehow she managed to talk with the driver, and we reached there. And when we reached there, we found that the observatory was closed and no one was there. But because Ruchika had made up her mind, she wandered around the observatory for 15 minutes and somehow managed to get hold of an observatory staff and convinced him to give us a personal tour of the observatory. So that's how I remember her. Like, once she decided that, I want to do this, she will somehow find some way of getting that thing done. And as usual, during this trip, she made a lot of new friends. And that's a habit that she had. Wherever she went, she would make new friends. I think beyond the pain of the present of her passing away, what I try to remember is that she has given a lot of joy and beautiful experiences to people around us, and that will live through us throughout our lives. Over the last few days, her memories and her words have been flooding back to my mind. And the common thing is that all the memories of her are of her being happy and joyous, because that is what she gave to everyone, happiness and joy. And while, like everyone, I'm trying to still come to terms with what has happened, I take solace in the fact that she lived a life which she would have liked to live, and I would like to term as an adventurous life. Yeah, that is all that I had to say. It's very difficult to, come to terms with what has happened.
Yes, Siddharth. So this is very difficult, and of course, this is extremely difficult to say anything in this moment. But let us hear Nikhil, who was also at IUCAA and was a very close friend to Ruchika. And if Nikhil Menon can unmute and say a few words.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I am extremely sad that we had to get together today for this occasion. And I would like to share some personal anecdotes. Ruchika and I, we were very close to each other, and her sudden demise has left a deep void in my life. She had a childlike innocence. She was a very cheerful person, as all of you would know. She was very straightforward, and she was very honest to the core. And I, while being with her, I understood that it was those relatively small things in life that made her happy. And she had also a lot of hobbies. She used to read a lot, and she loved listening to the music of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. And amidst all the personal tragedies that she had in her life, she continued her research and successfully defended her thesis this year, and I am very proud of her. I was always amazed by her interest in learning new skills and knowledge, and she was a great listener and used to talk for hours all night on a wide range of topics. And one thing which not many of you would know is she had a mind-boggling memory. She could collect the exact details of something that happened years back, and she could recollect the date, the time, in astonishing clarity. And I used to ask her how you did it, and it was just she was naturally gifted with that ability. And in 2016, for the first time, I think she coordinated the efforts to plant a lot of saplings behind the Takshashila building during the Republic Day. And I'm sure they have all grown bigger now. And it would be very great if people at IUCAA can continue to water them and nurture them in her loving memory. Ultimately, she as a person, she wanted to travel worldwide, ride her bike, trek, explore places and interact with people. And she had an extreme willpower to achieve all those things, as people before have told you. And before she left all of us, I can proudly say that she had covered all the areas in India which she wanted to. So she must have gone very happy and content. She was a true adventurer, and she set an example to her life that one could do courageous things in one's life, irrespective of their gender. And that was very nice. From the bottom of my heart, I wish she survived this accident and was with us here today. But sometimes life is too short and unpredictable. Although she has left us in her physical form, the beautiful memories that she had shared with all of you and with me personally will continue to persist for a lifetime. And I think we should all celebrate her existence. Goodbye to Ji.
Thanks, Nikhil, for sharing those personal anecdotes, and must have been really hard to share those. And, we would like to hear a little bit more on now Ruchika's academic involvements. through some of her collaborators who are joining. So it would be great if for example, Vinny Sebastian, if she can unmute and say, if possible, also on the kind of activities academically she was involved, among many other things. Vinny, please.
Hi, I'm actually currently traveling. But I would really, I'd like to have spoken something, but maybe somebody else could.
Yeah, Vinny, no problem. Don't worry. Seems the voice also is breaking, and so don't worry. Thanks for connecting. If you later want to join and say a few things, please just send a chat. So, so in case Konstantinos, who was a former postdoc at IUCAA, with whom Ruchika has interacted academically a lot, if Konstantinos may connect and say a few words. Is Konstantinos around?
I think he did join, but I don't see.
Yeah, so two of Ruchika's collaborators and mentors from CFA Harvard, they're also joining, and it would be really good to hear, for example, Ivan O'Sullivan, if you can unmute and share what you'd like. Ivan O'Sullivan.
Hi. So I met Ruchika 2 years ago at a conference in Pune. Konstantinos introduced us at one of the breaks, and she talked about the work that she'd been doing with Shomak and with other people. And she was very enthusiastic, and she was very determined. She had big plans for what she wanted to do, and she knew how she wanted to get there. She was very keen to move forward with this work and to continue doing interesting things scientifically. While we were at the meeting, we arranged, or at least planned out, the idea that she should come over and visit us at CFA in Boston. And she came over for a month or so that autumn. And she worked very hard while she was here. She learned some new techniques with X-ray astronomy. She'd spent a lot of time doing optical astronomy and radio astronomy, but she learned some new stuff with us, working with me and with Gerrit Schellenberger, who's also on. She also made sure, as her friends have said, to explore. She explored around the city with me. She visited places nearby in the US. She went down to New York for a few days. One of my strongest memories of her is that at the end of her visit, so this was late in November, maybe even early December, she was determined to go to Niagara Falls. She very much wanted to see Niagara Falls, and she had friends in Buffalo, New York, which is nearby. And there was a huge snowstorm forecast. And she was determined to do this anyway, and headed off on a bus into this snowstorm. And a couple of days later, was sending me photos of her exploring Buffalo, New York in sort of 2 or 3 feet of snow, and visiting Niagara Falls, all iced over. Since then, we've been working on her third paper. I was very happy that she completed her PhD and was able to successfully defend that, and then was got this postdoc in Tartu. we've talked a lot, even while we've been remote. She often talked about stuff other than work when we had our meetings to discuss how the paper was going, and she has kept up that work and kept going on it. She was about to submit it when this happened. She was trying to fit in submitting the paper and heading off to Tartu at the same time. She was interested in everything, as her other friends have said. We talked a lot on many subjects. I can remember certainly some conversations about kind of world politics, which were very interesting. And she had great plans for her future. She had plans for what she wanted to do in terms of work, what jobs she was interested in, but particularly places she wanted to visit. She had plans for heading to Central Asia, and things she wanted to do while she was in Europe, places she wanted to see there. She did a lot in the time that she had. She really packed in a lot of experiences. I had been expecting to work with her for many more years. So it's quite a loss to lose somebody this young and so unexpectedly. But there we are. So thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Thanks, Ivan. It was really nice to hear the involvements in so many activities and things. That she was also such a strong-headed, very strong-willed person, and has really gained enough and a lot of experience. So much that yeah, just overwhelming. So in case Jared Schellenberger, if you would want to say a few words, it would be great to hear you. Jared.
Yes, hello. Yeah, thank you for organizing this. I've only heard about her accident yesterday evening, so it's quite a shock. The first time I met her was in 2017 during the GMRT workshop in Pune, which I attended. And what I remember of her was since then that she was such a friendly, kind and open person. And when I was running into some problems or issues during some analysis or so, she immediately helped me out and was always there and helpful and always cheerful, as I think all of you can definitely confirm. As Ewan already mentioned, 2 years later, she came to visit at the CFA in 2019. And I had the chance to work together with her for a few weeks on part of her project. And she was clearly so focused on her work and always eager to learn new things. And from the conversations, I remember as such a fun person to be around with a lot of interests, like all of you confirm or pointed out already, her travel plans and all the ideas she has for her futures. She clearly wanted to achieve a career in science and astrophysics, and was on her best way to do so. As she just finished her PhD and was about to start her first postdoc. So I really think this is a huge loss, and I wish her family and all the people close to her a lot of strength in this most difficult time.
Thanks, Jed. Ruchika was also mentoring a lot of students. Two of them have said they would want to share their experience of interaction with Ruchika. So may I invite Emma Jane Choker from IIT Bombay, who did her MSc project with Ruchika. Emma?
Yes, am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. And so I interacted with ma'am for the past 6 months regarding my thesis that I was doing under Somak sir. And for I could call her up at 3 o'clock in the morning and she would be willing to solve the stupidest doubts that I would have. And randomly leave her mails, leave her WhatsApp messages, and she would always make sure she cleared all my doubts. And she always tried to help me in whatever way she could. My MSc thesis wouldn't have been possible without her. She's been there throughout, and while we would discuss about the work, we briefly also talked about her travel plans and how she traveled in the state on her bike. And since I too share similar passions, I was looking forward to going trekking with her, traveling with her. And when she told me about her bike trip that she did from Pune to Delhi, I was like this fangirl. Uh, for someone who does astrophysics and does trekking and traveling and riding, uh, I admired her, and I was hoping to be able to work with her a little more and do stuff with her. And when I heard about it, yeah, so it's a great loss for all of us, and my deepest condolences to her family and friends and everyone here. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. It's obvious that Ruchika was also quite inclined to work with a lot of people. So Gaurav Giri, who was a visiting student of IUCAA, has also worked with Ruchika and would like to say something. So Gaurav, in case you can unmute and say a few words.
Yeah, I might be here audible.
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, actually, it's quite, it's very tough to explain what it is, what it was, and how it happened. I was visiting there at IUCAA, and the first person, enthusiastic person I met is Ruchika. It was quite an accident, but it's okay. I mean, it got carried away. It's quite excellent journey together. Uh, Maybe I'm not a worthy person to talk about her. She was a lot more than what we actually thought, and uh, honestly speaking, we didn't have a senior junior relationship at all. And regarding the work, I must say she's quite a passionable person, not only about her work but also others. I have seen there is lots of time where she had some urgency, but still she's like, okay, fine, I'll help you out of this, and lots of stuff. And we have discussions like uh, I can remember all of them. I mean, it's like uh, I just offered her a paper that, okay, you just look at this. This is quite interesting, and she just read it right there for 30 minutes. And I am saying that, okay, what is happening? I mean, you can read it later also, but yeah, she just like that, like too much passionate about my work also, her work also. And we obviously, with Somuk sir and her, we have done lots of meeting together. And what is quite interesting is uh, she is quite enthusiastic to see my progress in my work. I mean, this is quite amazing, because I also have met lots of other people whom I mean, we have shared some topics, some works also, and this is quite. I mean, she was right there in front of me, and she was listening to everything, and she was like, uh, "It is my success or her success." It was not really not. I cannot explain that. It was really quite interesting. And when I heard this news, this is quite heartbreaking, because I have been to these places with her. We all have been to these places with her. We have been to these clips, and when I heard this news, it is quite. I just wanted to say that Western Heart, come on, she loved you, and the return gift you gave is it took everything from her. um, know what to say actually. I mean, maybe I'm not at that level. I mean, she's way above than what we actually think. Yeah, that's.
Thanks, Gaurav. So, so it is clear that Ruchika was a very dynamic person. I was interested in a whole lot of things, and of all the things, one thing that she enjoyed most was trekking, going on various trips, very adventurous trips, and taking all sorts of risks. That was her. And if she was around, she would simply scream at her friends that guys, what are you speaking now? You should all take it in some good cheer and say something good. Share some good, happy personal stories, and stop sobbing. I think this is what she'll scream at you, though I don't know her. So, so Yash, who has accompanied her on numerous trips, and has gone on extreme treks with her, would know her person as a real risk taker. So if Yash can share some of those some good moments, so that will be very great, Yash.
Thanks, Moshe. So this is quite a sad moment for all of us, and like being a trekker myself, I can totally understand what goes in a person who wants to just explore and just see the nature for what it is. And like one of my first memories of interacting with Ruchika was like I was just standing in the reception area and she just approached and said ki chalo, it's Durga Puja and let's go to a pandal and let's watch some let's dance in the like do the Durga Puja dance. I'm like, okay, and I'm so glad that I agreed to that because that started a good friendship and which blossomed into various treks which we went on. Uh, One of the most fascinating thing which we did was recently we went on a cycling trip, and that was that was my first long distance cycling trip in which we cycled for 20 kilometers on one side, and it was such an amazing trip because that requires a fortitude which Ruchika has, and like she forced that fortitude on us as well. And yeah, so like I'll sorely miss all the trekking trips which started off basically randomly knocking on my door, chalo kal hum log subah trek pe jayenge. So, and that's how we made plans. That's what I would like to take away from this, that you should be spontaneous, and that spontaneity can lead to very awesome views of nature and just a glimpse of the world. So we'll sorely miss you, Ruchika.
Thanks, Yash. I'm sure she has convinced many of you on the spontaneity part, and that you will continue being spontaneous and enjoy the way you want. Dhruv Paranjpe was also a close friend, and if Dhruv can say something, also something happy, good. Thanks.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, it has been a very difficult time to process this tragic news. While we are all learning to come to terms with it, I remember very fond memories of Ruchika, and I'll share a couple of those today. We first met in January 2016 when Swagat and she had organized a trip to Giravli to photograph Comet Catalina. This is a photo from the morning after that night. And as we all know, she used to love long conversations. And that night, I had taught her how to polar align an equatorial mount telescope that I had brought along. And at the same time, Swagat and she taught me the physics behind the working of laser pointers that we had carried with us. So it was a very symbiotic relationship between an astrophysics grad student and an engineer, where we taught each other our disciplines. Such conversations, feel that they taught me far more physics than a typical classroom lecture. I also recount a story she told us when she was eating lunch at the canteen and Professor Narlikar had joined her. And in her typical style of engaging in long conversations, she told him about how she grew up reading his books and being motivated to become an astronomer. And in the end, Professor Narlikar just finished his lunch and only said one thing: "You eat very slowly." Her delight and joy while sharing that story still reminds me to not take ourselves so seriously. In these trying times, I hope we all find strength and continue to take care of ourselves. We dearly will miss you, Ruchika. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dhruv. I would now like to invite Kavita Kumari, who would like to say a few things. Kavita?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, hi, everyone. And it is still difficult to believe that she's not among us anymore. And we all are discussing about her in her condolence meeting. And I knew her, I think, just roughly 6 months before she was about to leave IUCAA after the successful completion of her doctorate degree. And in the meantime, I knew a lot about her, and I must say she was very friendly, adventurous, and more like a happy-go-lucky kind of person who always took and faced difficulties with a very positive.
Kavita, your internet seems
Is related to.
we are losing your voice, Kavita.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. Now you try again. Yeah.
Is
Last
it
sentence
okay?
was. Yeah. Last sentence was not heard.
Okay. So I was saying that she used to motivate me as well, whether it is related to some kind of like work or on or anything else. So before leaving IUCAA, she was planning to like revisit different places and explore Pune more by cycling or riding her own bike. So once she had even took me with her for the road trip in Pune, and this is the one of the pick that we had during that time. And I must say it was really amazing experience for me to have with her. And in fact, I remember she had even made tea for me a few times. And being a super junior, I was really thankful to her for her gesture, for her nice gesture and behavior towards me. And yeah, uh, well, none of my words can express my real grief for her. But at last, I just want to express my deep sorrow and my heartfelt condolences for her mother and brother and her younger brother. And I will pray for everyone here present here for your well-being. Just be safe and enjoy your life. Okay, that's it.
Thanks, Kavita. So many of Ruchika's batchmates are not even in a state to express and say anything, and even older colleagues before IUCAA days, but some of them have expressed. So Suman Bala, our former IUCAA student and Ruchika's batchmate, would like to say something. So Suman, if you can unmute him.
Yeah, I think I am audible, isn't it?
Yes.
So basically to talk about Ruchika, I mean, as everyone has mentioned, she was very energetic and she's not a typical kind of person you can ever encounter. I mean, if I can remember, even people say, I mean, whatever happened, I can't believe actually. I think many of her friends who are not, have seen her for a long time, we can't believe that she's no more. Actually, it seems like that she will one day call, "Are Bala chalte hai na?" So it is like, I mean, her sounds are ringing in, I mean, around us. So, so I can't imagine, I mean, how our mind can register that she is no more. I believe most of her friends will say the same thing, that they are going to listen the voice. "Are karte hai na?" Says a typical Ruchika tone. And I could remember, I mean, we had occasionally long discussion at night while writing thesis and throughout this last, I mean, 6.5 years. And I mean, I don't know. She was interested to roam around the world. And she told me, "Yeah, Bala, sometimes, I will be in West Bengal, visit me Sundarban and these things." I mean, I said, "Yes, surely." But then this COVID came. And I know one thing, she was very depressed because of this COVID. Because I could remember in first year, she told me before leaving Pune, she want to visit every single place in Pune. I think she was up to. And anyway, I mean, there are differences with her, I believe many of us, there will be differences. But at the end of the day, must say, she's actually a very good person and she's very good from heart. She will say whatever she feels about anyone in on your face. And that is a very good, bold quality someone can ever have. And she's very good from heart. And I really, I can't say that I will miss. I really think that she will call me and again we'll meet and she will say, "Are karte hain ye," or something. I mean, I am waiting to listen that same tone. I mean, I don't know. I can't register that she's no more. I'm sorry, but I think many Rajashri will agree, because at the day I heard the news, I actually talked with many of our friends, many of our common friends, because none of us was able to register the fact. So anyway, so whatever happened, she was very energetic person, and I believe her memories will be always there, and that those will inspire us and tell you, live your life the way you want, and that's what she does throughout her life. That's all from my side.
Thanks, Suman. So now you saw earlier, of course, as Suman mentioned, many of you whom I have spoken personally in last few days, I can see clearly that many of you are in denial. You just can't believe it, and you are still in denial. And it's really moving that she was so, she touched so many of you. And you will, of course, be the carriers now, who will carry her through your memories the rest of your lives. Ram Kishore Sharma, our postdoc at IUCAA, whom you might have seen in the video that was played in that graduation ceremony of JNU. So Ram has known Ruchika for a long time and would like to say something about Ruchika. Ram, please.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, Ram.
Yeah. Yes. I met Ruchika in August 2012 when we started our master's degree in JNU. And I remember our first meeting, like after our first day at JNU, we were going back home and waiting at the bus stand to take a bus to the JNU main gate. And yeah, and this was our first meeting, and and our first conversation was about like she was how much she's excited about to join JNU. And like talking to her was very easy since she never judged people. And after that, like we became friends, and we had various late night talks in the inner circle of JNU. Not only about our message, but also about our families. And one of you has already mentioned that she has a very good memory, and that I encounter various instances like when I was in IUCAA, and then she suddenly says something that I was just surprised that, oh, do we have also discussed this? So there had been many incidents like this. She just exactly remembers when we talked and when was it and what was the context. And she always had a positive attitude. Like whenever you talk to her, and if it seems that you are stressed out, she will just say that, "अरे यार इतना क्या सोचता है? Just कर और हो जाएगा." And yeah, she was a person like all of we know that who like to explore the place wherever she stayed. One day I was sitting in her office in IUCAA, and many of you have seen that she had a big map of Maharashtra pasted on one of the walls in her office. So indicating to the coastal line in that map, she said, "देख राम, ये सब मैंने घूम लिया है. साउथ में कुछ कुछ बचा है, चल प्लान बनाते हैं घूमने का." And after this, we went to the Vellishwar village in the Ratnagiri district. But I didn't know that this is going to be our last trip together. I would like to say that, dear Ruchika, I was fortunate to have a friend like you in my life. It is very hard to believe that you are no more in this world and you will be deeply missed. I know you will not be available on the other side whenever I call you. We can't meet in person, but I will always remember you in my heart. Thank you.
Thanks, Ram. So we are slowly coming to end, and I would now like to invite Vaishak Prasad, our IUCAA's former PhD student, who, not former perhaps, yes, she's smiling, but Yash would like to say something. I remember them talking for long in our Andaman trip together. So Yash, if you can unmute and say something.
So I just said something, and I think Vaishak is not on. So
oh, no, Yash. Okay, I said Yash. Oh, no, Vaishak. I did. Yeah.
Yeah, Vaishak is not on, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then, anyway, we'll play their messages in the end. I think Vaishak has written a message for Ruchika, and this is what was so far the planned set of people who will speak. I would now like to invite and open it for the audience. In case some of you would want to say something, please raise your hand, and then we can just hear you. I think there is some request from Goswamiji and Abhishek Basu. So if Goswamiji, if you can unmute and say.
Nishant, you might have to unmute.
Hello.
हाँ, मेरी आवाज आ रही है निशांत जी?
Yes, Goswami ji. Yes, I can hear.
अच्छा, हाँ, धन्यवाद. आपने थोड़ा सा मैं पहले नहीं कर पाया था, लेकिन अब मैं तो खैर बाकी एकेडमिक चीज़ों से तो अपना कोई उतना ये नहीं रहा, लेकिन मुझे थोड़े से दो शब्द ये कहने हैं कि अब जब वो 2014 में आए और 6.5 साल तक इधर ही थे, तो अब हमारा तो रोज ही मतलब कुछ न कुछ कामों से ये मतलब उनका हमारे पास और ये कुछ न कुछ निकलता है। तो ऐसे ही शुरुआत आने से लेकर के जाने तक मतलब ये रहा संबंध, और बहुत अच्छी मतलब यादें हमारे भी मतलब हैं मन में, ध्यान में। और मन इस बात को तो नहीं मान रहा है कि अब वो नहीं रही, लेकिन अब ये सत्य भी बात है कि अब ऐसा हुआ है। तो मैं मतलब मेरी तरफ से उनके परिवार को, खासकर उनकी मम्मी और उनके पहले तो मैं रुचिका को अपनी ओर से श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करना चाहता हूं कि वो जहां भी हों, जैसे भी हों, उन्हें यथास्थान और सब बिल्कुल शांति मिले। और फिर मैं अपनी ओर से उनकी मम्मी और उनके भाई साहब को कि अब ये मतलब बहुत दुख की घड़ी उनके लिए हुई, क्योंकि उनकी तो अभी जिंदगी शुरू हुई थी, क्योंकि अब पढ़ाई लिखाई के बाद जस्ट अभी वो थोड़ा सा अपना जीवन शुरू करना था। लेकिन ये बहुत ही अप्रिय घटना घटी उनके परिवार, उनके साथ और उनके परिवार के साथ। और बहुत अच्छी मतलब उनका ठीक है, आदत स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड थी और जो भी कहना था सब कुछ था। तो हमारी बहुत मतलब ये है, अब क्या कर सकते हैं, ये बहुत मतलब दुख की बात तो है, और खासकर उनके परिवार के लिए, और वो तो खैर चली गई। तो मैं इतना ही कहना चाहूँगा कि अब जैसे उनके साथ में जब हम लोग लोहड़ी, होली, दीपावली या न्यू ईयर ऐसे प्रोग्राम भी बनाते थे, हर चीज़ों में बढ़ चढ़ के वो हिस्सा भी लेती थी, चलो ये करो वो करो, कुछ न कुछ ऐसा कर करके, मतलब इन चीज़ों में ऐसा भी मुझे याद आता है। और बाकी का कोई चीज़ जो यहाँ के हमारे मतलब उनके लिए जो हॉस्टल वगैरह के लिए कुछ करने के रहते थे, तो उनके लिए भी वो रहता था। तो ये कहना है कि अब ये बातें तो मतलब अब ये हैं, वो तो खैर जहाँ भी हो, भगवान उनको बहुत मतलब सदगति दे और अच्छे उसमें मतलब ये ले, और उनके परिवार को भी भगवान इस दुख की घड़ी में उनको भी शक्ति दे और उनको भी जरा थोड़ा सा धैर्य दे। बस यही कहना चाहूँगा, और बस इतना ही कहना चाहता हूँ।
Thanks, Goswami ji. Abhishek Basu has, if you can unmute and say.
Yeah, so I'd like to talk about Ruchika as her batchmate. It was last week of July or first week of August in 2014. We remember that we joined, and there was a big group of students. We joined in NCRA, and in IUCAA it was Ruchika, Shuman, Devojyoti, and Nilatri. And within just few days, we became very good friends. And just like good friends, we used to have fun, we used to fight, we used to argue, we used to do a lot of things. Hearing this news, it really kind of put all of us into kind of shock. Absolutely an unexpected news we never thought of hearing. Like, Ruchika was so vibrant, and while you were playing the video, I saw the picture of her bike, and I can clearly remember the day she and Omkar bought it. It was like a typical monsoon evening in Pune. They called me, said that, hey, मैंने bike खरीद के लाया हूँ, अब तेरा बारी है. Because we had the plan, like, I will buy a bike. They had a bike. We, four of us, would take these two bikes, would hang around in Pune. We'll go for trekking with those bikes. That thing never happened though, but as soon as I got to hear this news from my friends, everything was coming back, like all the memories were coming back. You know, this is a time when we all would like to say a few words to share our feelings, but we really lose the exact words and the phrase to express ourselves. She was really a nice human being, and okay, sorry that I'm losing the proper words to express myself, but it's just a kind of feeling probably you all are having after getting this news. I hope she was with us for much longer time than she had been with us. Thanks.
Thanks, Abhishek. And now I see that Kabir would like to say something. So Kabir, if you can unmute and.
Yeah, hi, can you all hear me?
Yes, Kabir.
Okay, so I've been listening to this meeting, if we can call it as such. I would just like to recount some of my interactions with Ruchika. So to begin with, I mean, she was completely different personality than me. She was a bubbly personality. I am more of an introvert and more morals. So, but here's the thing. She sought me out. I mean, I was introduced to Ruchika by my mutual friend Omkar, and she used to seek me out, and she used to probe me looking for common grounds, okay? And that is how we finally got to talk, because of three reasons. One, I was also a slow eater, and I was also a night out. So these were times when either of us would be in the other's office and we would talk. So, and yes, and that's how we got to know that we share a common interest for politics. We got to know that I was also a part-time biking enthusiast, so that's how we also got to talk. And what struck me was her enthusiasm. I mean, when we did talk politics, I mean, she would be so enthusiastic about to learn about things like communism, to learn about things like socialism, whether or not socialism should be applied, whether or not. So the exuberance is, I mean, that's magnetic. And I mean, I just cannot believe that I will have no. I mean, that person is no longer here, and this is a very sinking feeling. Yes, so this is one aspect which I wanted to share. The other one was, of course, I think it has been brought up by some others, but I would say that it was her straightforwardness. I mean, if there was something which was unpleasant of me, she would say it to my face. So, for example, she once told me that the problem with you is that you are very negative. So I said that, oh, in return, I said the problem with you is you are very reckless, but then she did not get offended. So such things are really, such things are really hard to come by now. So I just hope that we can imbibe some of the qualities she left as memories, and that's it.
Thanks, Kabir. I think we had, I think Bari also had expressed, in case he can unmute and say a few words, if Bari is available.
Yeah.
Hi, Bari.
Yeah. Hi, Nisha. Hi, everybody. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, Bari.
Okay, thank you. So I'm from Kashmir. So it shows how dynamic Ruchika has been. People from north to south, east to west, everybody is talking, and how many lives she has touched with her behavior, with her good attitude, with her lively attitude for the life. I remember one particular incident of Ruchika. My father passed away in 2018, October, and after I joined back IUCAA in November, Ruchika had heard, and we met at the reception. I remember we sat down for 2 hours, and that time, the way Ruchika talked to me, it was like the way she supported me that time, the soft words she spoke to me, and it was amazing to know that completely different, that soft-spoken nature I had not seen of Ruchika till that moment. So yeah, the moment I heard this news regarding Ruchika was, it was completely heartbreaking. It was completely tragic for me personally. I remember it shook me, and I just had to hold my chair, and I sat down for some time. For the whole day, I talked to my friends here in Kashmir, and many people actually know her. We have been visiting Pune, IUCAA for a long time now. So everybody was in shock. Everybody, we know how good natured she was. To her mother and her brother, she was a gem of a person. You should feel proud that you had such a good daughter. She was an amazing person. Uh, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Nisha.
Thanks, Bari. And thanks for sharing very personal moments and the other side of Ruchika that not many are aware of. And so I think we should be closing soon. And but after a few remarks, may I request Shivraj to say some words? Shivraj, if you can unmute and.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, Shivraj, you can turn on your video.
Okay. Okay.
So I didn't know Ruchika as long as other friends that who spoke here, but I had some good conversation and interaction with her. I still can't believe that I can't have one more conversation with her like that. But from those conversation and interaction, as you mentioned, I knew that she's a very strong-willed person. Also had a good work and life balance. I thought that she could be a good role model for people, especially girls coming into science. I said that she couldn't go that far to get larger visibility, but I still believe that whoever she touched so far would have encouraged by her life and work. Thanks.
Thanks, Shivraj. I think now some of those friends who have tried very hard to avoid speaking at all, and but I think it will be still good if they speak, especially for Ruchika's mother and brother who are joining. They would like to certainly listen to Pratik, our friend. Pratik.
Thanks, Nishant. So I don't know what more I can add after listening to all these wonderful things about her, which are all very true and very sad what has happened. All of us are going to miss her. I think she's one of the most adventurous people I know, very cheerful. I learned a lot from her, especially how not to take the pressure, whether it's academic or others. I've seen her adventurous side firsthand back in 2016 when she had just started off her exploration. We traveled to Kashmir, Leh, Ladakh, Pangong Lake, and she was always so engrossed in those things, very consumed. We used to get sometimes calls from auntie who was worried because in Leh Ladakh we don't get cell receptions. Only one of us had a BSNL phone. Over the years, we have discussed quite a lot of things. We have discussed a lot of science. Our fields overlap quite a lot. We had a lot of plans to work on various subjects. In fact, few months back, the last thing we worked together was write a proposal to Chandravati 1, and we are hoping to carry forward this work. And I don't know whether I'll be able to pick that up work again now. With this, it's filled with sadness. So I'll just end with saying my prayers are with her mother and brother. Please take care, and yeah, thank you for giving me the chance to speak.
Thanks, Pratik. I think if Swagat now can say something.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming here. I really don't know what to say, it will be difficult for me. I just want to say one thing that she used to think in her mind. She used to always tell me that कि स्वागत तू तो मेरा दूसरा भाई जैसा है, and she used to repeat this statement all the time. So I'll just say this, nothing more.
Thanks, Swagat. Yeah, this is all very, very personal loss to so many of you, and it's very difficult. And but Mauli, if you can unmute and say a sentence, that would be very nice. Mauli.
So Nishan, Mauli is connected to my laptop. I'll switch over the video so that you can see him.
Yes,
and
yes.
Mike as well. Yeah, Mauli.
Hello everyone. Please accept my deepest condolences. She was very friendly and open-minded person. She talked to everyone in the canteen. I remember when she entered in the canteen, she was like, "Hey Mauli, what's up? Khana rakha hai mere liye." I just want to say that she was great. She was amazing. Thank you. We really miss you.
Thanks, Mauli. Pranoti, if you can also connect and say something, Pranoti.
Yeah, am I audible? Am I audible?
We can't really hear you yet. Maybe you can try turning off the video. That might be helpful.
Am I audible?
Now, little, yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, Ruchika was a very dear pal to me, and she was always there for her friends or whoever needed her, as people who have spoken earlier have shared. I feel fortunate to have had her company for 6 years, and it's a big loss, huge loss for everyone that she has gone so soon. But she'll be alive with through the memories we have created together, and be it like philosophical talks, science, public outreach talks, our struggle to understand statistics. We used to discuss a lot of statistics. Yash would recall a lot about it. Then we used to teach kids, as ma'am has mentioned. Innumerable treks we have gone together, and talking at length about our families. She used to talk a lot about her family, like her mother and father, and her endless travel plans around the world. Like she wanted to go to roam around whole of Europe and then to New Zealand, and finally she wanted to join Aam Aadmi Party. That's what she said. Then I remember one instance where we were together at a workshop at Chandra X-ray Telescope workshop in 2017, and she was so enthusiastically talking to all the instructors to learn as many skills as possible. She used to always say that skills are everything, and very enthusiastically she used to participate in the workshops or conferences or wherever we were together. And I won't forget the encouragement and support she has provided me when we were together at IUCAA. I must say she was a brave scientist, always ready to explore, and I'll miss her. Thank you.
Thanks, Pranati. So in the very end, on behalf of everyone, as I've said before also, that
Is Durgesh there, no? Durgesh.
oh yes, I missed. Sorry for that. Thanks, Shomak. Durgesh, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi Nishant. Yeah, so it's of course it's a tough time to be in this meeting. I didn't have very much interaction with Ruchika, but one thing I vividly remember that whenever I see her, she would be very happy and relaxed all the time. And I used to wonder that how come a PhD student is never tensed? She would always be very happy. When I talk to her, she would respond very nice. The only thing I would like to say that maybe I could live such a carefree life and enjoy life that way, and the way she did, and that's very, very important for all of us. She did. It's a never going to be easy for any of us to miss her or to forget her in the corridor walking around and seeing her smile and her carefree lifestyle. But we have to come to terms of it, and you have to accept it and move on. And my condolences to her mother and brother. Thank you.
Thanks, Durgesh. So yes, so she has really inspired so many, and will certainly be cherished. But it's very tough loss to cope with. And as I've said before, and which is true for all of you, is that the only possible expression truly appears to be silence. And so I think we will close with silence, observing silence, when Pratik will highlight some of the messages that many of her friends have shared. Many would like to speak, but I think it's also time that we close it and just remember her the way she was, and in good cheer. But before that, we all would like to hear, in case Ruchika's mother, auntie, in case you'd like to say few words, this will be really good. So So if possible,
Yes. Thanks to everyone for remembering Ruchika. I have nothing to say, but I really thanks to IUCAA family, especially sir, Shomak sir. Shomak sir done his duties like a father. Thanks, Mr. Nishan. You also. And Swagat, Ram, and everyone in the IUCAA family. Thank you very much for your support in IUCAA, in Pune. Thank you very much. I have nothing to say, but thank you. Thank you.
thanks, Auntie. I hope you can count on us, and we are all there with you. And and as words are not going to be enough ever, so I would just request Pratik to start some messages while we observe silence, and in silence we will just close the meeting. Thank you, everyone. thank you everyone that you've taken the time to join today. And we wish you all strength and peace. And we now close this session. Thanks.
Very much. Thank you, everybody.